Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Real Estate Playbook. My name is Andrew, and today I'm going to walk you through a 7-step framework that I use to help all of my buyers win their offer. And just to set the stage here, let's just assume that you're somebody who wants to buy a home, right? At some point, whether it's today, tomorrow, a month from now, a year from now, it doesn't matter. You're somebody who wants to buy a home. In order for you to buy a home, you have to have the seller agree to you buying the home. So that's what we're going to discover today. We're going to go through, just kind of talk about how do we systematically get from I want to buy a home to the keys are in your hands. And we're going to kind of go through what you can do as a buyer to prepare and put yourself in the best situation so that when you are placing offers with your real estate agent, you are in the most advantageous situation possible to win, right? Because it doesn't matter what the financing looks like, rates, if the realtor is giving you a discount on their commission or any of that stuff, none of that stuff matters unless you have an accepted purchase contract. So that's what we're going to go through today. And what I tell all the families that I'm working with, just for starting up here for number one, is if you're somebody who wants to buy a home, start the process early. Start thinking about what your goals are. What is your timeline? Where do you want to live, right? If you're a family, where do you want your kids to be at school? Do you want them to be in a certain school district? Are you married? Are you single? Where's your job located? Why do you want to move in the first place? Believe it or not, a lot of people don't always think about that. They just think that they want to move. Well, you should think about, why do I want to move? Why do you want your family to move? What's your timeline? Are you 12 months out? Are you 6 months out? Is this something that's going to happen in, a couple months, right? You want to start thinking about these things. And the sooner you start that process, you start preparing in general for this big moment. You are buying a, expensive thing, a home. And I think it's wise to start this process soon and start, mapping out what your family's goals are and what you want to do. Now, the second step here, which comes right after step number one, when you're kind of discussing your goals, is you want to get a full application from the beginning. That means doing an application with a mortgage company, getting your credit pulled, either a soft credit pull or a hard credit pull. You need to understand what's going on there. And you need to have all your applicable documents uploaded. So that may be pay stubs for you, that may be W-2s, it may be tax returns, it could be bank statements, it could be a whole bunch of things, it could be gift letters, it could be several things, but we want to get your loan structured from the get-go on how you want it. Get your loan dialed in and have this piece dialed in. I see so many people who do not do this, and then now when they're out looking for homes, they're just playing catch up. They're just reactively trying to get this piece in order when this is a huge part, right? Figure out, where is your monthly payment going to be? Where do you want your monthly payment to be? What's your cash to close going to be, right? How much funds do I need to have saved? What are all those numbers going to look like? And figure out, does that still align with your family's finances, right? That's a very important piece. And until you do this, it's very challenging to understand that because you haven't laid everything out. Additionally, you want the bank, the lender, whoever's doing your loan to understand it all. Put all your cards on the table so that there's no surprises or red flags later on. So that is extremely important. So get a full application and get all the documents required so they can get a full review. Now, once you have that, you need to find a lender who's going to do a real underwriting of your loan up front. Most times, lenders will not review your loan with a real underwriter until you're under contract. So you need to go find somebody who's willing to do this up front. If you need somebody, I know somebody. But all jokes aside, you need to get this done for several reasons. Number one, you want to have a real underwriter look at this so you can have the peace of mind knowing that you're good to go, that any red flags have been caught because it's been looked at by a professional. Yes, right here, you're getting it reviewed. Yes, you're pre-approved, but you want to have this done so that the underwriter gives you their official checklist of what you need and what you don't need. That gives you great peace of mind. Additionally, when it comes time to making offers, you can be much more aggressive with your timelines because part of the loan process that would happen no matter what, you've already done, right? Your loan's already been through initial underwriting before you've even stepped into a home. And that allows you and your real estate agent to be much more aggressive so that you can, ask for more things like seller paid closing cost and, maybe getting the sale less or buying the home less than the list price. that really helps when you can be aggressive with your timelines. And then also, it really helps the seller with confidence, knowing that your loan is going to get through. A lot of sellers are very weary about just a pre-approval or a pre-qualification letter, right? Anyone can issue those. Not everyone is going to have a fully reviewed loan by an underwriter before they walk into a home. And when you do, that's going to put you higher in the pecking order when it's a multiple offer situation. So if there's 10 offers and you're the one who has their loan already reviewed and that's been communicated to the selling agent, that will put you at a higher chance, because at the end of the day, the seller needs their home to sell. And if they can't, and if the loan won't go through, it's not going to sell. So that's going to help with the confidence. So just recapping real quick, the first three things: start planning soon, or start planning as soon as you can, whenever. Start planning, get a full application with all the required documents that you need for your scenario, get it structured how you want, down payment, closing costs, figure out what those things are going to be, and then get your loan reviewed by an underwriter. That's going to help with a whole bunch of things that we just went through. Now, as we keep going here, like I said, this is a whole framework, so we're going to follow this in chronological order. The next thing you need to get is a quality agent. Quality agent. I'm going to say that again. You need to get a quality agent. There are a ton of options out there for real estate agents, and it's up to you to decide who you're going to use. But if you're asking for my 2 cents, here's a few things you should look at. Make sure your real estate agent is full-time. In my opinion, you do not want a real estate agent who's doing this part-time. They have a full-time job over here, and then they do real estate the part-time. I don't think it's a great option when you're buying something like a home. I don't think you want someone's half attention, half effort, half attention span, because they've got a whole nother thing going on over here, and then they'll just fit you in when they can. I've had so many situations where that has not turned out very well. I would highly recommend you get somebody who is full-time and this is their career path, who they are bought in and they eat, sleep, breathe real estate. That is what I would get. I would get somebody who does that. Additionally, find somebody who understands your market. Going back to your goals and your location, if they don't understand your market, it's going to be challenging for them to help you with the school districts and finding homes that meet your goals in that area. If there's somebody who works an hour away from where you want to buy a home, might not be a great option. Find somebody who's in your market, who understands your area, what's currently happening in that market. That's super important, right? I think that's highly underlooked there. You want somebody who understands your market. Additionally, you want somebody who closes a lot of real estate transactions. You want somebody who does this. Um, Again, this is up to you, but if it was me, I wouldn't want somebody who does 2 or 3 real estate deals a year. They're just not getting a lot of repetitions. It's not like part of their everyday thing. They're not, just like sports, you need a lot of repetitions. They're not getting that many reps. They haven't seen a lot of things. So I would make sure that this is somebody who is actively doing real estate deals. At the bare minimum, make sure that they're on a real estate team so that they have some support and they've got a team behind them who is seeing a lot of deals, who are seeing a lot of things. Um, I've seen it so many times where somebody picks a family friend or something who does 2 real estate deals a year, and things don't go very well because, again, it's just they're part-time, they do it every once in a while, and they just don't have the experience. And you're the one who's gonna suffer because of it. So make sure somebody who's doing that. And then ask them about what their creative offer strategy is, right? There's so many ways to win offers other than asking for a higher sales price. We're not going to get into that right now because that'd be more real estate, agent specific. But there's so many things you can do with writing contracts and deadlines and, making different things happen so that you don't always have to be the highest offer, right? If the only way to win is by the highest offer, we got to get back to the drawing board. There's so many things you can do. So ask them, what can we do? What can we creatively do to win an offer besides just being the highest bidder, right? Ask them what they got there. There's a lot of things you can do. You've got that. Now you've got a great real estate agent who's going to help you with the home side. Next thing that I always tell my families that I'm working with, and this is something I help them with, is understand the numbers for that home before you even walk in the door. So now that you've got a great real estate agent and you're out touring homes, how many you're looking at, Before you even go into the home, you need to understand, what do the numbers look like on this home? You need to know that. Like what's the monthly payment going to be roughly on this home? What's my cash to close going to be? What's my down payment? What are the taxes on this home? You need to understand all those things. So many people do that in reverse order. They go look at the home and then they try to see if it fits with their budget. You're doing that in the completely like wrong order. Number one, you're wasting your time, you're wasting the agent's time, you're kind of wasting everyone's time, because you're not going to buy this home unless it fits your finances. So let's just figure this out from the get-go. Um, However, you're going to do that with the lender. I have a way of doing it that I do it for my clients, but figure out what the numbers are going to be so that if you're going to go look at, 4, 5, 6 homes on a Saturday, make sure on Friday or at least Saturday morning, you know what this looks like, because that's going to give you confidence when you walk into the home. You're going to know that these numbers fit right. If they don't fit right, you won't even go look at the home. But if the numbers fit your budget, you can walk into the home and know that if my family loves this home, if it's a good fit for us, we can pull the trigger and act fast. We don't have to hesitate. We already know that we're good to go here. We've done all these things. We've got a full underwritten review. We've got a great agent. We know the numbers fit our situation, again, because you've done all the front work. So now you can be precise. This is the one we want. The numbers fit. We're moving forward. Let's go. It eliminates a lot of that just decision fatigue and having to overthink things. Like, this fits your budget. It fits your needs. It fits your wants. Let's move forward. Let's go. And that puts you in a competitive advantage because you're ready to go. Now, when it comes to making the offer, one thing you can do to win an offer when there's multiple people, you can get very aggressive on your timelines. Again, if you've done all of this right so far, you can be very aggressive on a timeline. Most times, people are, depending on what market you're in, most people are closing a home, in roughly 30 to 45 days. You don't need that long to close a loan. You don't need that long to buy a home. This can be done in 2 weeks. This can be done in 2.5 weeks, right? It can be done very quickly. And all of this can be made happen because you've done the underwritten process already. You know the numbers fit your budget, like all these things, so you can be ready to go. And that's going to help the seller get what they want, which is ultimately they want to sell their home and they likely want to sell it fast, right? If someone is selling their home, they probably need to sell this home to get to their next home. And until this home is sold, they can't get to their new home. So the faster they can sell theirs, that's going to help them. This is another way to win, even if you don't have the highest offer, because say they have a home that they really want to buy, well, they're trying to win that offer. And if they can sell this one quicker, they can win the offer over here. So being aggressive on your timelines can definitely help. And it just helps them meet their needs. Like I just said, if they want to get this home, they have to sell this one. That's going to help them get to their needs. Now, lastly, this is highly important, and this is something that your loan officer should be doing for you. If not, I guess you need to find somebody else. But you need to have proactive communication with the selling agent. The lender needs to be reaching out. The real estate agent already will be, but the lender needs to be reaching out to the selling agent and figuring out, what do they need? What does the seller want? It's that simple. What do they want? Do they want to close fast? What do they need to net for their seller proceeds for their next home? What do they need? Like, what do they need? Figure that out and be proactively updating them on your loan status. Because from a seller's point of view, they just want the confidence knowing that your loan is going to fund, right? If your loan doesn't go through, they're on the hook and that home's not selling. That's holding their whole process up, right? So having your loan officer explain your loan structure, letting them know we've been through all this, it's already been reviewed by an underwriter. We've got things good to go. Like we're good to go. We can close in 2 weeks. That gives the seller a ton of confidence because they know we are going to get to the finish line and we're going to get there very quickly, which is what they want. Sellers want to know that this is going to go through. And if we can be proactively communicating with the real estate agent, with the selling agent, that is going to go a really long way. And that helps you win an offer. Now, all this comes down to is all these things is having a system for success. As you can see, this is how me and my team run things. We're kind of going through this kind of high level here. There's definitely intricacies and little details I didn't go into because I don't want to make this video 30 minutes long. But you got to have a system for success. You need to have a team that has a proven track record of doing this over and over and over again. That's why having a good lending team and a good real estate team is so important, because if you can do this and you have a system for success to get you to the outcome you want, you're going to get there. It's not a matter of just, if or is this going to work out. It's just a matter of when it will work out, because we've got a system in place. So hopefully that's helpful. I know right now in the market, it can be a little competitive depending on where you are in the country. And these are some things that I do with all the families that I help to make sure that their offer always stands out and put them in the best situation possible to win. So if you have any questions on this, or want to, have a more in-depth conversation with how I do this or whatever, maybe you're a real estate agent watching this, or maybe you are a home buyer, uh, you know, hit me up in the comments or reach out directly. And I'd be more than happy to go into finer detail and kind of show you more of the tactical side of how we're doing this. But hopefully this gives you a really good understanding and brings you a lot of value as it comes to placing offers, whether it's your first home, second home, dream home, doesn't matter. So anyway, until next time, I'll see you later. Take care.